EndorseMe. I'm Martin Clutter, and today with Know Who You're Dealing With, we've got Mike McGinley from Connecting Mortgages in Wellington. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. It's great to have you on the show eventually, and hopefully this will be your stardom video.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Excellent.
Thank you for watching.
Brilliant. So today, again, as usual, I'm going to ask about 5 questions, and so you can get to know me a little bit better. And the quick 5 questions, quick 5 answers. You ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Let's go. First question. So why did you decide to become a broker in this environment?
Well, I've always had a passion for lending and anything to do with property, really. But maybe to answer the question a little easier, I'll just share with you an experience I had quite early on. I was dealing with a customer. They were first home buyers, so they were quite nervous when they first approached me. They had no idea about what the process was going to be like and how they were actually going to get into home ownership. They thought it was a little bit out of reach for them. So we got everything organised, had them pre-approved, they had their offer accepted, they were really excited at that point, and then come through to the settlement date. It was late in the day that I actually gave them a call, just wanting to congratulate them on their new purchase. And when I spoke to them, the level of excitement that came through on their voices was pretty infectious. And they just basically told me that they were celebrating by sitting on the floor of the living room, eating pizza straight out the box because they hadn't moved in all their furniture yet. Just so thankful, so excited to be there, and that's why I'm an advisor.
That's excellent. I mean, everyone sort of tells these stories, but it's great to have that you know this is exactly why you're doing it, and it's changing people's lives.
It is, yeah. That's great. It's pretty humbling and good to be a part of that small snippet in someone's life.
Excellent, good. So that's sort of part of the thing. The next question is, what is the process you follow with customers?
I've got quite a detailed, structured end-to-end process that I follow with my customers, but we probably don't have that length of time on the video, so I'll pick a couple of key points that I'll point out. The first one being that I'm big on pre-positioning my customers, so I believe that a customer wants to know anywhere in the process exactly what's going to happen next, so I pre-position them all the way throughout so that they do know what's going to happen. That'd be the first thing. The next thing that I do is actually do a review of their overall financial position. So that's going to account for their goals as well, so short, medium, long-term goals. And it's going to make sure that the products and services that I recommend are going to align with those goals and are actually going to perform exactly as expected by the customer. Because you don't want to set someone up with something that is not going to work, of course. So that'd be another part, and then the final thing I'll just touch on today would be the review as well. You do need to have an ongoing review of someone's position. An example being if they have a fixed rate coming up for renewal, then you obviously want to have a conversation and make sure they haven't had a change in their financial position, or if there has been anything that may impact what my recommendation would be going forward, whether they were to refix for a specific term or restructure the lending entirely. They may, for example, have a young couple or where they've had one of them be off work for leave for their first child, about to return back into the workforce, and they're at a point now where they're going to have 2 incomes coming into the household. So you may want to consider what you do with that loan that's just come up for renewal.
Brilliant, okay. So it's from start to finish, always with the customer all the way through.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, yeah. Okay. So you've got a wealth of knowledge. Do you have any expert tips for us? So if someone's coming to you, do you have any expert tips for them? Yeah,
I mean, there's loads of expert tips that I could give, and it does actually vary depending on the customer you're talking to. So, for example, the tips I'm going to give a first home buyer are going to be completely different to the tips that I'd give a homeowner looking to buy their first or fifth investment property, and a lot different again to someone looking to buy land and build their home. But I guess there's something I'll cover off a few points of things that would be consistent across all of them. First one would be I'd recommend that people actually get in contact as early on in the piece. One thing I've found about home loans is that it's all about getting the right amount of money when you actually need it. So an example of that would be someone who's looking to buy a property, they get all excited, jump online, they're having a look around, and they find a property, fall in love, and the auction's tomorrow. And they haven't yet actually spoken to anybody about even knowing what their ability to borrow is. So the earlier in the piece that you can come in and have a conversation, the more we can have you prepared so that then you'll be able to go in with confidence and know that you're not going to miss out on this property because you haven't actually started the process.
Brilliant. So you're saying sort of the first step would be to see you before they see, or they go looking for a property?
That's the one, yep.
Okay.
So, yep, that's whether it's buying a property, whether they're looking to do a construction, whether they've got a fixed rate coming up for renewal soon with a provider and they want some advice around what they should potentially do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they come in a month or 6 weeks before that's due to happen versus the day before it, obviously you can arrange things so that it all lines up.
Brilliant. Okay.
Did have one other thing there though?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, yep. So then the other thing would be just around, and this is probably actually one of the most important things someone will get right, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
is the actual structuring of the lending.
Okay.
So these days there's a lot of places people can look for advice where it may not be entirely relevant to them. So an example of that would be people often will talk to their friends or colleagues and say, look, I'm buying a house, and they'll give them some advice after listening to 2 minutes of what they've had to tell them.
Okay.
Versus if they actually seek advice from someone like myself,
Mm-hmm.
then they're actually going to have someone provide them with advice that's based on their overall financial position, and they're going to know that the way that the loan is structured is actually making best use of the money that they've got. It might be that they have specific goals that are going to come up in the next 2 to 3 years where this is going to account for that, whereas that person that they've just spoken to for a couple of minutes, work colleague for example, they may not have asked the certain questions that I would ask.
Brilliant. Oh, it's good to know. So it's great people get to see your sort of whole process and in depth take you see with the customers.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So fourth question is your favourite quote or inspirational quote?
Favourite inspirational quote? Well, I'd probably have to say life is a whole lot more fun if you say yes rather than no.
Okay.
And the reason for that, I mean, in living, of course, it is. You know, it is a lot more fun.
Yep.
But relating it back to what I do, my customers are, I'm guessing, are more likely to want to hear a yes from me than a no.
Okay.
And I'm quite fortunate, I guess, that I have options for people where if they don't necessarily fit certain boxes that people believe they have to fit in to actually get a loan, it's not necessarily always the case. There are options, and I'm able to help those people as well. And I'm always looking for a way to help someone and make something work if there's a way to make it work.
Brilliant. I like that. Just said yes.
That's the one.
So that falls into the last question as well. So what do you do for fun?
For fun? Well, I've got a young family, so the kids definitely keep me on my toes. And what I do for fun these days actually is reflective of what they do for fun. So whether it be hitting the playground, or I've actually got a scooter, so does the rest of my family as well. So we actually go out on scooter rides, and you know, I get a lot of kicks out of watching the kids, you know, seeing them have fun. And so my whole life outside of what I do kind of just revolves around them.
Spending time with the family.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And you've got to have the balance as well between family and business. And it seems like you've got that well set down as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, there you go, everyone. Today we were speaking to Mike McGinley from McGinley Mortgages. I'm Martin Kluter, your host. If you want to know more about Mike, go to his page on EndorseMe and have a look at his profile. If you want to get a hold of Mike, just click on the contact tab and fill in the form. I'm sure Mike will be happy to talk to you. And if you want to know more about us, go to our website, endorsement.co.nz. And if you want to contact us, admin@endorsement.co.nz or the contact page on our webpage. As usual, please like us on all the social media icons. And until next time, I'm Martin Kluter and Mike McGinley. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.